Hello, guys. Welcome back to the P and L show. The moment you've all been waiting
What's
for.
up?
The episode. Well, if you watched up to the end from the last episode, you know what we are talking about today.
And it is what, Pablo? It is what?
It is the topic of love, the most anticipated episode to this day.
And everyone can relate because everyone's experienced being with someone else at some point.
Or at least wanting to be with someone.
The ups and downs.
Well, Leo and I were just talking about this before, but we were like, well, who would people be more interested in hearing, like, our experiences from? Would it be him or me? But we felt that it was more of the same.
Yeah, half and half.
And why is that, huh?
Because we're not really open about our relationships or past relationships, so people might be curious what we've been up to in the dating world and shit.
But like, what have you done? Who have you been with?
Exactly. Everyone likes to hear those stories. They're always entertaining and shit.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that can be said in terms of love. Like, well, the question I asked you that we were probably gonna use
last week.
last week was do you think it's possible to be friends with your ex?
No.
No?
I answered it now. No.
That's the response I expected from you.
I don't think it's possible just because, well, maybe, but it depends how far you went with your ex, if that makes sense. Because obviously, if you're like in one of those relationships where like, you know, like a juvenile relationship where you don't even technically like what is it called, French kiss, and you just like peck and shit, like that type of relationship, then maybe. But obviously, if you guys already like fucked and
you like to eat each other,
and all of that, then maybe not.
Like it's a lot harder to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because I mean, you put a lot more effort and time
in
with that person. You've exposed yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's definitely
that
seems valid.
Well, that, and obviously, if you for some reason, okay, you stay friends with them, but you date someone else, then that's a fucking problem right there. Because you're obviously eventually gonna have to tell your current girlfriend about your ex, and then obviously she's gonna feel threatened because you already fucked your ex or whatever the hell, or at least like made out with her and all that shit. So, when you have a girlfriend, no, but maybe if you're still single, maybe. But I feel like at that point it would just be more for like carnal pleasure, ish. If that makes sense.
To like your booty call.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
what do you think?
I think it's possible, but it's like you said, it's very complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very situational, because you have to definitely set like boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to like be friends with your ex, you'd be like, hey, I'm down to talk to you once in a while, hang out with you once in a while, but like you're not my priority anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing past just chilling, hanging out. Unless for some reason you're both like, fuck it, we'll hook up still.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I could see happening. You guys just hook up. But I mean, it's also possible that you could just enjoy being around them as a person.
Yeah.
And just be friends. Like maybe have a drink or two, but no tanto, like to the point where you're both pissed drunk.
Well, do you think it's actually possible to be like, let's just say you stayed with your ex, but yeah, it's just for like some friends with benefits type of thing? You think it's possible to just keep it as that, or do you think it'll eventually, that friends with benefits thing will turn into like
going back
into you guys are back together?
I think it's dangerous. That's definitely dangerous. I think it is possible to jump from friends to benefits to be like you have feelings, because it always ends up being someone catches feelings, because then all of a sudden, what if one of you decides like, hey, I'm into this person,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just automatically stops. Someone's definitely gonna feel a little bummed out about that.
Yeah.
Unless like they're a lot more like able to just let things go.
Yeah.
Because I know if that was me, I would probably be hurt, because I have a hard time letting things go.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on the person.
Depends on the person.
Or the people involved more.
So you think So it's like a 50-50. It could work out, but it
Yeah.
depends on the person.
I mean, I don't think I've known anyone where it's worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or here's another question that I know is like comes up a lot when you're talking about dating people. Do you think long distance relationships ever work?
I don't know. I don't think it does,
Why not?
because I know it wouldn't work for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm very needy in terms of like just wanting that physical feeling of them around me.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like just for sleeping with them,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like just having that like comfortable feeling that someone's next to me that I could just like hold and express my feelings, because I've always been super bad
Mm-hmm.
at like expressing how I feel for someone through words. It's always been through like a hug or buying them something
Mm-hmm.
that it was better for me to express, because even now I'm having a hard time expressing
Yeah.
it.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, because I know some people. Yeah, they're like, yeah, long distance relationships can work, especially like those high school relationships when they're gonna go to different colleges and shit.
Oh, dude.
But like, I don't know about that, but yeah, I've always like, nah, I don't think they'll work.
No, yeah, because I was kind of in that situation where we went to different colleges,
Mm-hmm.
but I was always like craving having them around me.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucked. Even though, I kept in contact,
yeah.
and like we would sometimes like Skype or call each other, it felt like it wasn't enough.
Mm.
But that's another thing where it depends on the person.
A lot of questions. I got another one. I like these are all good questions. Don't worry. Are white lies necessary in a relationship?
That's hard.
I think I heard that in a Dr. Phil episode.
A
Like
white
once.
lie. Like, what do you mean white lie? Like a lie to protect them from something?
Yeah. Or do you think
it's-
there should always just be complete honesty no matter what?
I think complete honesty. I think it is important to be honest, because then it's kind of like a test of the
Mhm.
relationship to see if you could talk it out
Mm-hmm.
and kind of come to like a compromise.
Yeah.
So I don't think white lies are necessary. Unless like that was tough too, because let's say I'm like, okay, someone was trying to flirt with me, but I made it clear to them that, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And then let's say your girlfriend would be like, hey, were they trying to flirt with you? Would that be nice to lie about? Be like, nah, like they were just my friend. Because I mean, in a way, you're not lying, because you're telling them that you weren't interested and you didn't try anything, but they tried something on you. I guess that is a white lie.
Yeah. I forgot something. There was like a quote, something about a half lie or a half truth is a whole lie. Something like that. So even if you're telling the truth, but
You're bending it.
Yeah, exactly, then it's still a lie.
Well, yeah, because it's not the full truth.
It's 'cause that's the thing. I feel like complete honesty in a relationship can
It is
fuck
hard.
up your relationship
It is hard.
at times.
Well, because I mean, I think white lies would be more if you're complimenting how your girl looks. Because let's say you're not a huge fan, but they love their outfit so much, then I would be like,
That
you know
you
what?
like feel bad to be like, nah, it
Yeah,
doesn't look good.
I'll
or
be like, you know
something.
what? You look amazing.
Yeah.
Like your energy is what makes it amazing, not the way it looks, but how confident
How
you are.
you look in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good example of a white lie.
Kind of like, I mean, I feel even just outside of relationships, the whole truth is never a good idea. Like, you need to lie your way through life, like just in general. There's no way you can go like in a relationship or even if you're not in one without telling
At
at
least
least a
one.
white lie or just a lie. It's scary though.
I had a question that I was gonna ask you, but I kind of forgot it throughout. Oh, I actually, what would you define as flirting and just complimenting someone?
Damn, that's a good question, bro. TBH. Jesus.
Because what I often hate is sometimes you could compliment someone, but people sometimes can get the wrong idea
Mm-hmm.
as it being flirting. Like, let's say for example, someone you don't often talk to
Mm-hmm.
post something on Instagram, and then you say, "Hey, you look really good."
Mm-hmm.
Would you see that as them trying to like, since it came out of nowhere? Do you think it's possible for someone to interpret that as flirting over complimenting them?
Yeah. Or I feel like it depends on the girl. I know maybe some girls would just take it as a compliment, like, yeah, he just thinks I look good or whatever. But then yeah, some would probably be like thinking you're all thirsty and shit. Like,
Well, let me add this. What if they're consistent with it? Like almost every post they do, they're
oh,
always.
then maybe, maybe. Yeah, maybe, because then at that point that means they're just, especially if like, if well, there's no way you can really know, but especially if yeah, like you're saying, every post that you actually put up, they're like commenting like, damn, you look good and shit like that, then yeah, I feel like, well, if I was a woman, I think that fool was trying to like,
Slide out the DMs.
yeah, exactly.
I think it also depends on the context.
That's true.
Like, let's say like what if they just use emojis? Like the emoji,
Yeah,
you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing the
like
where you
good,
make the
like you look
circle.
good. Yeah. I mean, I feel like emojis are fine. Yeah, like if it's just certain emojis.
Unless they put eggplant
Yeah.
or
No.
peach.
Yeah. Then it's something else. But flirting in real life, I feel like you can tell when someone's flirting with you, because I feel like a woman's main tell is they start touching you a lot. Well, at least I think that's what it is, because obviously just laughing doesn't mean they immediately want you to like but
It just means you're funny.
yeah, so I feel like that's the main tell. I mean, it's never happened to me, but that I feel like that's the main tell. Yeah, for sure, the touching thing, because I've seen it. It happens in movies too. That's always like the main tell in the movies, when like the girl starts touching the guy, that he's like, oh shit.
I always get paranoid when a girl
Mhm.
gets touchy.
Why?
I like it. I don't know what it is, because like I said, I do like physical like love,
Mm-hmm.
but only when it's like once you've made it clear you're both in a relationship. But if it's like a person that I'm just acquainted with, or even if they're a friend, most of the time I feel awkward showing physical love.
Like even hugs?
Yeah, even hugs. Like often I'll feel really awkward. Like I'll be the person who will give you the one hand hug.
The one hand hug.
So like you hug over the shoulder
Oh,
more.
okay.
Instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sometimes they'll give me like a full hug, but I'll just put one hand around them. Like I'll be that like pat on the back, bro,
Yeah.
kind of hug.
Dang. I mean, I don't know. So you've experienced that then? Like
Of what?
they like start touching you and shit.
Yeah, but I always take it as in like maybe they're just that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like me, where it's like you enjoy showing your feelings through physical
Mm-hmm.
rather than like telling you like, hey, thank you, or hey, like I like this about you, because you won't catch me saying that kind of stuff unless I've been with you for a while.
Yeah. But has it ever been the case that whoever it was that was like showing it that way, that they liked you,
Actually,
or that they were interested?
Yeah, now that I think about it, like I don't want to be too specific.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Because some people will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it started off with like I didn't really know the person, but they started like kind of talking to me a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and we started hugging like randomly whenever we saw each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then before you know it, I found out they were into me, and then I was actually into them.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have an experience with that. So yeah, I think it's possible.
I don't think the only reason that's never happened to me, it's because it's never happened to me in high school, like to begin with, but after. I'm currently dating Yoshi. If you listen to the other podcasts, I met her. I told you the story already, I think. If I hadn't, then I'm just I don't know how it hasn't come up yet, that I met her on Xbox. and then we met each other in real life, and then that's when we started dating.
You got the gamer relationship.
So we play.
I wish I've had that.
Well,
I've technically had. I've had a girl who was a gamer that was into me, so I would like that again. Because I mean that's like a gamer's dream, and quote unquote, that your girl will be a gamer too, or at least open to the idea.
But there's problems that come with that, especially because sometimes no matter how much like I don't want to, I like rage. So like they see that side of you sometimes too, where and then they start. Yoshi at least sometimes she's like, calm down, because like I start raging when I'm playing, and so. I mean, that I feel like that's the only downside, because other than that, obviously she plays too, so that's like nice to have, like another thing, you know.
You can play duos.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we met on Xbox, through
PS4.
Jonathan,
Master Race.
What? Like PC Master Race. Yeah, and then she was working at the convention center for Anime Expo, and then I remember she was just. I don't know if we asked her at random. She was like, yeah, it's like since she works there that she can get us in. So we're like, we're down. And then we went. And, that's where we actually met in person for the first time. But we didn't really see her because obviously since she was working the event, we just saw her outside so she can give us like the things to go in, like the ticket or whatever. But we didn't see her like after that. And then pretty much just keep playing and then texting. And then eventually, I don't think... Like, do you ever say, like, I want you to be my girlfriend? Are you ever supposed to say something like that? Or does it just, like, you just know you're in a relationship now, like, at a certain point?
I don't know if this is old school. Is that considered old school?
I think so. That's why I'm asking. Like, I don't know if anyone...
Because for me, yes, like, I actually have to ask them for me to feel like, okay, we're in a relationship. Because I will hold back if I'm not, quote unquote, official.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely hold back. Like, I will not, like, I won't be as... You know how sometimes you'll have nicknames for them and whatever? Like oh, you babe or whatever, bebe, hermosa.
Hermosa.
Well, I've never actually used hermosa, but... yeah, for me I have to ask them, be like, hey, so I really like you, I want you to be mine. But I don't know for you, but for me, yeah, I have to. I actually have to. It kind of like eats at me a little bit. But I'll still be willing to like do the hugs, the kissing, but I don't know, it's really awkward.
But like, so to get really personal with a person, you'd have to ask them that. Like for you, in your case, you'd have to be like,
no. It's really complicated for me because the last I don't even know what to call it, but you know what, I'm gonna call it friends with benefits because that's if you're looking at it from the outside, that's what it probably would be. It felt, I was always in my head, I was like, when is this going to be official? When was this going to be official? And then, you know, when I actually decided to try to make it official, that's when I felt more of like, okay, you know, you're going to be my girlfriend. There's a lot more I could do with you that I could feel. I won't feel so awkward doing. So, like, I'll still do a bunch of stuff that looks like you're in a relationship, but there are some things where I'll feel really awkward to do because it still eats at me in the thought that we're not official, quote unquote. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be official to the public. It's just between you and me. Because that's another thing. If I were in a relationship, I wouldn't make it public. Like, you wouldn't see me posting a bunch of like photos with them. Like, if that were to happen, it'd probably be after like a good year and a half. Like somewhere in between that time, where I'd be like, okay, I'm ready to post pictures with you and stuff. Because I mean, the last thing you need is I start posting pictures with you and then all of a sudden we break off.
That's true.
Because then it's just kind of awkward.
Yeah. I remember you asked, I don't know if it was you that asked me the question or we talked about it, like, obviously not on a podcast, but something about, do you think, okay, you're in a relationship, do you think sleeping with that person makes the relationship stronger, or is it like just the same? Like nothing changes when you sleep with the person?
Uh, let me think. I mean, it would sleeping with someone would definitely make it harder to get over them, in my opinion. In my experience, the would it make it stronger? I mean, it satisfies your cravings. So
I mean, like, do you think it'll bring you closer as a couple, sleeping together?
it definitely can, because I mean, you're looking at each other naked.
That's true.
So you're kind of like exposing yourself physically, like hopefully, instead of like just emotional. It opens up one half of the relationship. Like, I think that's as far as you can go with someone in terms of physical love, but that's probably just one half of it, and then the other half was emotional.
That's true.
But I don't know if like everyone's like that, but I always feel more emotionally open after it. But I don't know, for me, after sleeping with someone or after feeling like any sort of sexual feelings, I always feel depressed afterwards. I don't know what it is.
It's like it's a real thing. I think it's called like post nut syndrome or something.
Post nut
like that.
clarity.
Something like that. Yeah. Something about like most of the times when you're like done, that the guy always just, I don't know, for some reason feels like bummed.
Yeah,
or something.
like
I don't know why.
Like, or if like randomly the feeling like it's there and then it goes away, I always just feel so depressed. Like, I feel disgusted almost. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either, but it's a thing. So I don't know. Maybe something in your head is like, just, fuck. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, because I know. Yeah, it's like, obviously I've talked to like Brian and them too, and they obviously say the same things, that sometimes like when they're done they just feel bummed out, but like I don't know if there's actually a science behind it.
Yeah, I don't know. It always, like, it wasn't all the time. There were times where I was just like, I felt tired and like sleepy, but then there were some times where I just felt like so sad and like, I don't even know why. Like, I wasn't necessarily sad at something specific. It was just a feeling.
Yeah. Do your parents ever make it awkward when you're in a relationship, or tell them when you let them know that you're like hanging out with a girl or something? Do they get all like, "Ooh, who is she?" and like and all that shit, like the typical parent thing?
They have done that to me in the past, but what they'll often do is, if I end off a relationship, they'll constantly ask about the person for a little bit. Mostly my dad. My dad would be the one like, "Oh, ¿qué pasó? Like, ¿dónde está la chica?" And I'm like, oh, she's not here no more. Or I'll do something, because like, you know, when you're older, you meet people who are more like, oh, they have school, they have work, they have their own lives. I'll say something like, oh, you know, they have a job now, they're studying, so we don't always have time to hang out.
Yeah.
So I'll go along that, because the last thing I want to do is like kind of, I don't know what the word is, but make them look bad.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't matter like how bad a relationship ends for me. I'm never going to like talk bad about that person. Cause it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably say a bunch of stuff about me and I won't ever hear about it, but I'll never fall to that level to be like, oh yeah, she was a bitch or something like that. But other people around me will probably have done it, where they talk shit about like my ex, but I'm always just like, well, you won't hear me talking about it, because, you know, there at one point those people meant the world to me.
Yeah.
I was willing to try out a relationship with them. So I'm going to remember them for that, not for the problems we ended up having that made it not work out.
Yeah. Because I know my mom makes that shit awkward for me. Like, when I was like, because obviously I had to tell her eventually. Well, I feel like she noticed, because when I first started talking to Yoshi, I would always constantly be on my phone, like always talking to her. Like, well, I would plug in my headphones, but I would always just be talking to her. So she's like, "Who are you talking to so frequently?" That like, she thought it was like usual, like, you know, Brian or like Nestor or something. But yeah, then eventually I just told her like, "Oh, it's this girl I'm seeing and shit." And then my mom would, oh my god, I hate it when parents.
Oh,
But my mom would be like, ooh, like who
Ooh.
is? Yeah, she's like, what's her name and all that shit. And so obviously I told her and all that shit, but my mom make that shit fucking awkward, bro.
She probably like, when's she coming over?
even when, like when she goes downstairs, like I remember one time, this I don't even think I've told Jocelyn this story, or Yoshi. That's her name, though, her real name. In case I never said that in the podcast. Yeah, I think obviously I don't think she's met. They had met yet, like in person, but I was downstairs because I think it was like my tio's birthday or like my cousin's or something, and obviously I went downstairs and my mom, we were all eating and shit, and then for no fucking reason, my mom's just like, oh, ya saben que Leo tiene novia, and I was like, are you shitting me? Like in front of everybody, and then they
Did
started
she
being
probably
like,
like, ¿lo vas a presentar or something?
yeah, and then they start saying some awkward ass shit. They're like, use protection. I'm like, all right. And so, I mean, my mom.
Ya le metiste la pata? That's what I remember hearing my mom say one time. I was like, what? That's a phrase?
Yeah, what?
Que lo metiste a la pata or something like that?
Never heard that phrase. But yeah, that's some awkward shit that my mom always. And then sometimes she even mentions like sex when we're with my tios and stuff as a joke to be funny, but then it just comes off as awkward, especially because Jocelyn's there with me, because now obviously everyone knows who she is, and so they just make it awkward as fuck, bro. Like unbelievable.
It's always an awkward thing when that comes up. That's why I just refrain from not talking about it.
That's true.
I'm just like, I mean, who I'm sleeping with, I'm never gonna make that public in the house. So.
That's true.
It's like, the other thing is, because, my parents are like, you're not stupid. Like, we've taught you, like, everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you end up pregnant, you're, not you, but.
Like your girl?
If you end up getting a girl pregnant, you already know what's going to happen. All your dreams, everything you're trying to accomplish right now, you're going to have to set that aside.
Mm-hmm.
And focus on the baby that's about to come out in a couple months.
Some scary shit, huh?
So I'm like, I'm not about that. I'll use protection. I'm fine.
Yeah, for real. Huh? How do you feel you would react if you ever got news like that with a girl you were dating? Like out of nowhere, yeah. Like they just come home and they tell you like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And you're just, what's your initial reaction and shit? Would it be like the typical thing that you're like, oh shit, or would you think you'd be like excited or something?
I would be like, I'd be conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, yeah, I'd be happy because I'd be like, well, because one, the girl is the one that's gonna go through it all, the mood swings and the giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't necessarily be mad because I mean it was from both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Because we both decided to sleep together.
Yeah.
So we already had the risk in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be mad because I mean, like I said, I made the choice to sleep with her. I know the risks.
Mm-hmm.
So reacting, I'd be shocked.
You'd be shocked?
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad or sad. I'd be shocked. But I would instantly get into like, okay, well, now I know it's going to happen.
That's true. Imagine she was like, though, she's like, oh, we're having quadruplets or something.
Oh,
like
dude,
triplets. You'd be like,
at that point, I have to get like 2 jobs.
Shit, for real? I feel like that would probably freak anyone out. Like if that was like your first time, like obviously
being
like
a father.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, you're having quadruplets or something. I'm like, oh.
I'd probably faint.
That shit's in the. I think having like twins and shit like that is like in the genes, no? Like if in your family you got like twins, something like that, then maybe you can have twins. So that's some scary shit. Luckily, I don't have any twins in my family.
I'm not trying to have a baby till like 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's all about school for me.
That's true. Communication's key.
Oh yes, dude. This.
Is it really? I'm trying to think. Is there anything more important than communication in a relationship? Nah.
Effort. Because the one thing that tends to happen with people is you get comfortable.
That's true.
And then you start not doing the things that
you did at first.
Because, I mean, I'm guilty of this where, like, I was the lovey-dovey person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would randomly buy gifts. But then as time passed, I didn't do it as often.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stopped being so expressive physically
Yeah.
that it kind of felt like, okay, so what's up? What's going on?
Mm.
So that's a danger, getting comfortable.
But I mean, that's natural, no? Like anyone in a relationship eventually gets, not that like you're just like fuck it, like, I'm not gonna put any effort anymore. But you just get super comfortable where you don't, like, even in girls' cases. I know obviously sometimes when you're first dating, they feel like they have to get all prettied up with like a bunch of makeup and shit. But then once you've been together long enough, you've seen them without makeup and shit like that. So, but I mean, it's natural, no? Like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
not really a
but
bad thing.
I think it's only bad if you completely just drop. Like like maybe instead of like being a lot more often that you're doing like gifts or planning out dates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As long as like you still put effort here and there, I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't get fully comfortable and be like, oh, I could care less. Like, we could always do it another time. Like going off the idea that, oh, they know how I am, so it's okay.
Yeah. Because I know, what's it called? Some girl, well, that's a big thing that girls see, I guess. Well, they see in the guys that sometimes, yeah, when they get too comfortable, that's when the girls start complaining about that type of thing. Usually, they're like, yeah, you're not trying enough, or like buying me flowers.
Where's all the effort you
Yeah.
did when you were trying to be
Yeah,
with me?
exactly. But it's like, I don't know. I never thought it was, well, personally, obviously, it's nice to eventually, sometimes take your girlfriend out or something somewhere fancy and shit like that. But I never thought it was really a big deal, because to me, the getting comfortable part is always the best part. Better than, like, obviously it's exciting when you're first dating like a new girl or something. But I feel like once you're comfortable, it's nicer, because that whole well, I guess, yeah, you just don't have to try. You don't have to try as hard, and that like the person likes you, and obviously you like them. So yeah, I don't see it as a big deal. But then women, they're like, hey, you ain't trying, homie. It's like, what?
Well, that's why, like I said, it's better as if at least it's here and there where you still try.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean that way you reassure them, like, hey, I haven't forgotten about us.
Oh, do you think it's possible to forgive someone that cheats on you?
I mean, yes.
Yes, but like making it work again, like actually work, not just like you forgive them and you're friends, like you forgive them and you're in a relationship with them again.
Well, I mean, I'm speaking from experience. I have done that, and I got a lot of shit for it. I mean, I'm sure you can expect what I heard when I decided to do that. A lot of people were like, "Why?" It's like, but she did it once. She'll probably do it again. But it's because I've always been that person who is willing to give a second chance no matter what. I mean, now as opposed to back then, I'm not so lenient with that kind of stuff. I'm a lot more of like, okay, that one mistake you did with me, that's it. Like, I'm out. Like, I'll literally just ghost people that make that one mistake. I mean, obviously it has to be something that really does hurt me for that to happen. But yeah, now I'm more willing to just completely disappear from people's lives. But that's a tough one, because I'm not the same person I was back then. So back then I would definitely tell you, yes, it's possible. But now I'm just like iffy about that. So I'm not sure.
Like, I know a lot of girls say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Well, they say it to guys.
Oh yeah.
But do you think that's accurate? Like, if a person cheats once, they're just gonna keep cheating?
I don't think it's accurate. I think I don't know, because I've never cheated. So I can't really speak in the mind of a cheater. I've definitely been tempted.
Yeah.
There are people that like, oh, they're interested in you, and like sometimes you'll feel bad, but you're not intentionally trying to tell them like, hey, like, I'm willing to do something with you. You're just trying to like make them feel good, but try not to mislead them. So I guess you could call that temptation.
Yeah.
But I don't even know why people cheat in the first place. Like,
That's a
I
good
would
question.
rather have someone just randomly drop me and leave me for someone else
Mm-hmm.
than me having to hear that you decided I wasn't good enough in the moment we were in the relationship, and you
Yeah.
went to behind my back to show like love to someone else.
I mean, I don't know what you think it is, but I feel like when someone cheats, um, I feel like it just mostly has to do with sex. I don't know. Well, that's what I think. I don't think there's any technically like. Well, actually, maybe it's because also the person, maybe they something about they feel unspecial, like in the relationship they're currently in. So the new person they're with that they cheated with, I guess, makes them feel
Good.
good. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like why cheat when if you know you're miserable or something in the relationship, why not just obviously you should talk first, and if nothing works out, like if you see it doesn't work out, then just break up with the girl first and then go with the other girl or something. So I don't know, yeah, why you would just. I mean, I guess because like people are always like, oh fuck it, two girls, like I had two at once and shit, but that's never a good idea. I feel like eventually everyone gets caught that does that. Scare shit.
I mean, it's it's surprising that some people will find one night with someone to be worth the trouble you're gonna feel in the morning,
That's true.
knowing that like you cheated on someone. Because I don't think it's necessarily just drawn to sex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like the ultimate form of cheating in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That like you went out and slept with someone else while you're in a relationship. Because I mean that can hurt you, like a lot. Just knowing like, wow, like I was under the impression like you liked me, I liked you, and then it always makes you feel like you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you are in a relationship, you took the time to say yes. I want to make. I see you more as more than a friend. Like
Mm.
I enjoy you. I enjoy being around you. The feeling's mutual, and then for you to just take all that and throw it out the window, all the time we
That's true.
spend together, depending on how long you've been together,
Mm-hmm.
say like, especially if it's a long-term relationship,
Oh, that was probably a base.
like let's say you're together for like a year plus or like up to 2 years, and then you find out they slept with someone else.
It's like kicking the nuts, bro.
Like that's a huge hit on your mental fortitude, like just, and on your heart. You're just like, oh, because it might even ruin some people's like view on love.
That's
They'll
true.
just be like, oh, all girls are the same,
Did you
or
ever
all
get?
guys are the same.
Would you ever get physical, like
No.
like punch the person and be like,
No.
"Hey, what the fuck?"
No, the person who cheated or the person they cheated with, because the issue I have.
Mm.
Like let's say it's usually with the guys.
Mhm.
Well, from what I've seen, it's usually with the guys. That like let's say your girl cheated on with another guy. Why the fuck do the guys get into a fight with each other?
For real?
It's like
huh?
it's like
they should
bro,
fight with the girl because
Yeah.
the girl is the one that.
it's like bro, I'm not like, unless they knew. Like if they knew, then okay, I get it. But
Mhm.
if like you're both like you don't know that it's
Yeah.
going on, why are you getting a fight with each other? Like you should be concentrating on the person in the middle,
That's true.
which is the girl. Same thing with the girls. Like girls will go eat each other, like just destroy each other because
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, you're taking my man." I'm like, "Hey, the
Mm.
man is the one going around being slimy, so you should be
For-
putting your
yeah.
anger at him." That's what always been confusing to me. But it's only understandable if you both knew,
Mhm.
like the person they were cheating on knew they had a girlfriend and they decided to like sleep with them. That's
Mm.
when it's okay for me to be like, okay, they're mad at them too.
Yeah.
But if you're both unaware,
yeah, that she's hopping between you
yeah,
two.
then don't fight with each other. Like,
For
how about you
real.
both break it off so that way she has no one,
Well,
or
that's
he.
that's why I asked the question at first, because obviously, let's just say you're the one in the main relationship with the girl, and you've been with her for like, I don't know, whatever, like 5 months or something, and then she goes cheats on you with another guy. If then you, since you've been with her longer, if you would think it's possible to recover from her cheating on you
Because you've been together for so
because
long.
you've been together for long. Obviously, if you've been together with a girl for like a week or some shit. She like
You probably
cheats on
just
you. Yeah,
leave.
you'd be like, bruh, but that's it. But that's when. Do you think, at least in your case, let's just say even longer than 5 months, that you would want the girl to stay with you even after what she did,
Uh,
or would you be like, nah, like it's done, like I'm not
I
forgiving you, or whatever the fuck?
I think yeah. I think if you're with them longer, you probably. I feel it would be a lot harder
Mm-hmm.
for people to be like time to leave, but I think yeah. I think because like you can make that argument like, oh wow, so those 2 years meant nothing to you. You're willing to sacrifice a night or a day, whatever time it might have been,
Mm-hmm.
to be with someone else that you probably not known for so long, or you just gotten to know,
Mm-hmm.
than with someone you've been with for a long time, and
That's
that
true.
we've shared so many memories together.
Mm-hmm.
You've opened up, so
Scary questions.
I would probably leave.
You would leave. You'd be like, nah, I'm out.
I would leave
That's scary.
because that just opens up. It's like, okay, you were willing to do this amount of damage to me.
Mm-hmm.
What other sort of things are you willing to do?
That's true.
That would be haunting in my head, and it would break the trust. And that's like the most important thing. You would feel like you couldn't trust them, and then it would lead to you being sort of overprotective, being
Mm-hmm.
like, well, who's this guy on your Instagram? Who's this guy on your Snapchat?
That's true.
It would make you super paranoid, and that's not healthy in a relationship.
Being
you-
overprotective.
Yeah, you don't want to be controlling, because sometimes you might entice the girl to be like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it whatever I want,
Mm-hmm.
and then that just leads to arguments, to things just not clicking anymore, and then you just break off. At least save it by saying, hey, okay, I understand
Mm-hmm.
you want to be with someone else. I'm clearly not the one for you.
Mm.
I'm just gonna remove myself.
But I feel like that's a big thing in a relationship. Jealousy, no, like
Yeah.
no, on both sides. Like
Yeah.
so,
Well, let me ask you, are you a jealous type?
no.
No?
I feel like I can confidently say that, just because I feel like Yoshi has a good amount of male friends,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I don't. Cause the way I see it is, I feel the way everyone should see it, but everyone's different. So some people get really jealous. Is if the person, you're with that person because they like you and you like them, so you shouldn't really worry, because if they cheat, it's more like if they cheat, they cheat. Like there's nothing you can do at the end of the day. Like it's up to them if they're gonna go out and fuck some other guy, or fuck some other girl. So yeah, there's no reason to be all paranoid. And then obviously if they don't cheat, well, that's good. That's good too. So there's no reason in really being like, oh fuck, like she's probably gonna go out with this guy. And so that's why I'm not like ever really worried. Sometimes I get a little like with this certain friend that she has. I don't know if it's jealousy, because I don't necessarily know what jealousy feels like, or know if I'm the jealous type, even though I feel like I'm not. But there's one friend that maybe gets a little something out of me. I don't know if it's jealousy though, and she knows who it is. But yeah, I don't know. You're the jealous type or what?
I used to be that's one of the main things that I know ruined the last potential relationship I could have had,
Mm-hmm.
is that what do you call it? I was one of those people that was like, I didn't enjoy seeing other guys on the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would and at first I didn't tell her, because I didn't want to be that guy to be like, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how we got into the conversation, but I eventually told her. I was like, yeah, it kind of bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it led to her deciding, okay, fine, I won't do it no more. So it wasn't me actually telling her, like
Mhm.
straight up, like, don't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then the fact that like that opened up, it started leading to me being like, hey, I'm not comfortable with seeing that anymore.
Mm.
I'm not like that now, because I realize how bad that is.
Yeah.
That's pretty toxic to
Mhm.
be like in a relationship. You don't want to do that, because that shows you don't have trust.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not comfortable or confident in yourself that you're good enough for the girl.
Mm.
So I did a lot of self-reflecting from that relationship. It was not obvious, where I was like, let me look at the whole relationship. That was one of them. One of the issues on my end that I was like, okay, yeah, I could have done better.
Do you think it's fair to say that that whole thing that when you're in love you're blind?
Yes.
Yes.
You can be blind.
But like blind as in you can't. Well, obviously it's probably the same thing that you can't see the flaws with the person you're with because you're like so in love with them that like you, or maybe you do see a flaw, but you're like, no, like it'll work, and keep telling yourself shit like that.
Yeah. That's I've been guilty of that.
So you think it's true?
I think it's true. I don't think it's true for you to be blinded by the entire relationship. I think you can be blind to certain factors of the relationship. Like, oh, maybe they're not giving you enough attention, and where you'll be like, no, it's because, they're doing this. Or, like, you start making excuses for them, defending them more than you probably should. So I think that's when I would say, like, yes, you can be blind, but only in certain, like, factors, not by the entire relationship, unless the whole relationship, you're making excuses for every little thing.
Yeah. Damn, that's just scary, though. TBH.
I put so much thought into this, as you can see.
Exactly. It's like so many
little things that you have to think about.
Yeah. Well, like, how do you know when you meet a girl, right? How do you know, or do you believe in the one? Because that's a big
like
thing.
Your soulmate or whatever.
Yeah. There's everyone. It's like half and half. Feel like the world. It's like some people are like, yeah, for sure. I know that there's like a woman out there for everyone, or a guy out there. But then the other world's like, what the fuck? That shit fake. So,
I mean, there are moments where I have like my little like emotional episodes where I'll believe in like all the bullshit like that. But I mean, I think it's more about like you kind of just have to look around, like play around with the environment. In this case, like mess around with different girls. But like that's before I used to be that guy who's the date to marry. Like okay, this person I'm going into, like this is the one I want to marry. But there's so many things wrong with that because one, let's say you're setting yourself up for a huge disappointment, first of all. Because I mean, unless God is lucky to you, you meet the one on the first try.
Yeah.
That I don't see you dating your first boyfriend and being like, this is the guy I'm gonna marry.
Yeah.
And it ending up happening in that sort of fashion. I think you definitely have to try out different people and just go in with the mindset like, I want the time that I have with this person, I want to make it the best I can for us both, even if we do end up breaking off. I would like them to look back at this relationship as in like, yeah, it didn't work out, but there were a lot of good things that happened in it. It taught me a lot of things. Yeah. Instead of being the toxic person and being like, fuck them.
or maybe not the whole, the one thing, but do you think when you're in a relationship, you'll eventually know if this is the girl you want to marry? You think at some point,
I think
when you're in a relationship, it'll click in your head?
I think that, yeah, it's possible because, I mean, that's when people be like, okay, I'm going to buy a ring now.
That's some scary shit. That's how I feel like
marriage.
That's scary. No, not even just marriage, more of just if you're with the girl, obviously, and then that's the ultimate test. Once you take out that ring and you're like, will you marry me? Because if they say no, and let's say you've been together like 5 years or 6 years or whatever, then it really means that they kind of still don't see you like as like husband material or something. So that's why I've watched videos, where like the guy proposes and the girl's like no, and I'm just like, fuck. Oh.
Yeah, that would hurt a little.
That's a fucking bummer though.
You would need a huge band-aid for that corazoncito right here.
Like retirement, huh? Just retire from the love.
I'd have a hard time facing her. Like, imagine the conversation afterwards.
Oh yeah, I saw a post on Instagram that said something like that. Like, if the girl says no when you propose, do you think it's still possible to salvage the relationship?
I think it is.
Yes.
Wait. But it'd be really awkward. Like, I think I'd probably give it a year and then maybe try again. And then but I'm talking like if they've been together for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if you're with her 2 years, I would not recommend you try to propose
Mm-hmm.
in that short time, because a lot of people have been together for like 3 years and they just break off.
Yeah.
3, 4, whatever. I would say like 5 is probably like the magic number,
Mm-hmm.
where you would probably be like thinking, okay, maybe I really do want to be this with this girl. You know, I want her to be a part of every moment of my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's
Yeah.
the conversation like,
But
Pablo? If
afterwards-
you were dating a girl and she said no to you, what's the conversation like
I'd
after?
be like, so you want to go get something to eat?
Something to eat.
I'd be like, so what you in the mood for, huh?
You're like, not marrying me, apparently. Yeah. That's fucking. I don't think it's salvageable, TBH.
Really?
Well, I don't think it's salvageable if it's kind of like what you said. If you've been together, obviously, like even just like 2 years, and you try to propose and she says no, I think it's salvageable there, because obviously,
You still have a lot of time.
I feel like even you, as the person who they said no to, you would also, I guess, eventually think like, oh yeah, we've only been together 2 years, so maybe, maybe later she'll say yes. But I feel like if you've been together, yeah, like you said, like more than 5 years, like 7 years or something, or 8, and she still says no, I feel like something's wrong, because if we're 8 years, is a long fucking time. So
Unless she throws a line on you, she's like, I don't need to marry you to know I want to be with you the rest of my life.
yeah, but then that's when you're like, I bought this fucking like 5K ring. What's up? Put it on, bro.
They're like, what if we have a wedding, but we don't like officially get married? Like, we don't have to like file our marriage with the government or whatever, you know?
Would you wanna? Well, obviously it's more like a girly thing, but would you want a big wedding, or would you
Oh,
want?
hell yeah, dude.
You want a big ass wedding?
I would want a big wedding.
For real?
Yeah. I would want, like, have you seen the video on YouTube where they dance El Tao Tao?
Oh, you showed it to me.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have
I
the
wanna-
hats on.
I want to do
shit?
that for my wedding.
Mm.
I 1,000%. Like, I would just be like, hey, who's down to dance this with me? Like, I already know a couple people who'd probably be down,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to have, because ideally, I would like a woman who'd be down to dance like bachata with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want us to dance like something in bachata at our wedding.
Yeah.
And obviously, the after party gotta be lit.
After like everybody gotta get fucked up.
I'm gonna expect all the homies to toss me up in the air,
Hell yeah.
and then I would need a bomb ass DJ first of all.
For real, huh? You ever seen the
there's some
punk ass DJs,
I'm just
bro?
like, bro.
Or they keep changing the song every like 10 seconds. You're like, what's
I'm
up?
like, let me enjoy it. Like, or sometimes like the songs are so misplaced. Like, to me, I feel like there are some songs where I would rather have them being played at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my way of probably doing a DJ, I would start off slow, like put some cumbias, get everyone in the mood, salseado or something,
Mhm.
whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
and then get slowly bring the beat up. Because there's some people that be mixing in like punta like at the beginning. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to like get into it, not be tired right away. I want to be able to dance the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, definitely you could be like, oh, you could just have better stamina.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like you gotta bring the livelihood of the party up a bit more. Like, you gotta slowly get people into it.
Oh, I got a hard hitting question for you. And
Hey, what's up?
if your future wife or girlfriend ever hears this shit, it's gonna be like, oh, what do you think about bachelor parties when, like, let's say one of your guy friends, like at your house or something, brings a hook, not a hook, what the fuck, a stripper.
A stripper. I mean,
When you're about to get married.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't care as long as like they don't try to sleep with me.
But you think that's appropriate? Like,
Well, I think
I don't think
that's
it ever made sense to me.
the thing about me is I would just first talk about it with my wife or wife to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, is that something where you're comfortable with? Because I think at that point I would get it more for my friends.
Yeah, so they
than
can
for
be
myself.
like, yeah. Uh-huh.
So we can have a good time. Obviously, I wouldn't mess around with the girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would definitely check in with my bride to be like, hey, is this something you're comfortable with? Because then I would also have to see what she's doing. Like, do you plan on getting a male stripper?
That's true, huh?
Because I would want to be even playing field. Like, okay, you're gonna
Like
do
if
this.
she gonna get a stripper, I'm gonna get a stripper.
Yeah,
huh?
because I'm like, it's only fair, you know.
Yeah, because then it's like you're about to see some other fool's junk, and I'm just sit here like.
But yeah, it would just be as long as they don't try to sleep with them.
That's true.
That it'd be more for the feel of the party.
So then, how would you feel if your bride to be had like a bachelorette party, but you didn't or something because it was like a surprise?
I'd be like,
You'd be like,
I wouldn't be mad at her. I'd be mad at her friends.
mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? Like, you guys did a party for her. Where's my party?
Yeah, for real. Huh?
I'd be like, hey, why didn't you guys do me a surprise party? No, but it'd be all banter because, I mean, that makes me sound entitled.
Mm-hmm. Fuck.
But marriage is a long way for me.
What's the ideal age for
For
marriage
yeah, like
and for a kid?
marriage, maybe I want to say maybe by 29, 30, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And then kids like early to mid 30s.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I feel like that's good. Like you get married and then maybe like 2 or 3 years later you
Because
have a
I'm
kid.
22 now. That gives me like 7, 8 years to finish up my career, get established.
Mhm.
Hopefully find a girl within that time. And yeah, that's the ideal version.
Mhm.
Because I don't see myself having a girlfriend anytime soon. I mean, you know, never something could happen. I never know.
Mhm.
But my priority is like education. Because my friend Kevin always tells me this when we make jokes about not making time for each other. He's like, what the fuck? You're not gonna take care of me. I'm only gonna take care of me. Like, you're not gonna pay my bills. I will. And I'm like, oh, you right?
I mean,
You
that's
right?
true. I mean, that's true.
It's like, I was like, oh, you right. It's like, ain't nobody gonna take care of me. I gotta take care of me.
That's true.
Or he'll like he'll also phrase it this way. It's like, are you gonna take care of me? Is that what's gonna happen? It's like, no, I don't think so. It's like, I'm the one that got to work.
For real.
So that's kind of like one of the ideals I've been living by. Like, I gotta work because no one's gonna be like handing me money to take care of myself. I gotta take care of myself. So I gotta take care of myself first, and then once I'm successful, then
Mhm.
I can invest that success to the people around me.
I got another last question before we end the podcast. The hardest hitting one. Well, it's not really the hardest hitting one, but it's like sometimes in my mind, cause I see relationships like that. Would you want to be in a relationship, or just what do you feel about a relationship that like the guy is the only one that works, then maintaining like the girl and shit?
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Because I know that's like an old school thing, I feel too. Because I feel like, yeah, some like older people, yeah, I know that they lived that way, that like they kind of just want to be the provider for the whole family.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that? Like, if you're in a relationship.
I feel like nowadays, if that's the situation, it really depends. Because let's say if it's the guy that decides that, I feel like that's more of a pride thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where the guy's just like, I want to be the one to take care of it. I'm the man
like,
of
I'm
the house.
Man. Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, most guys, yeah, you are kind of built with that idea in you that you have to be able to maintain your family because you're the man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into the ideal I just explained with ain't nobody going to take care of me.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're kind of working. So you kind of develop that mindset. Like, I'm working because I got to take care of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of merges with your family. You're like, I got to work because I have to maintain myself and my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. But I think then you can't really complain on both ends if, you know, the bills aren't getting paid because only one side is helping.
That's true. Crazy. Good stuff.
It was an interesting podcast.
To
Well,
say
let me
the
a-
least.
Do you think any exes will listen to us talking about this?
No.
Yeah, I don't. That's one thing that I think
And if
with
they do, fuck,
exes.
I ain't with you no more.
No, I mean, I don't expect it either.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people mature, people grow. And, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been quite the interesting podcast. This
Good
one
stuff.
actually went really by quick. I didn't even notice how long we've been talking.
It's crazy.
Until you were like, oh, last question. I was like, oh, shit. It's been like an hour almost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for the guys who stayed, or
Thank you
girls on the rare chance,
Thank you very much.
thank you. And hopefully you
You enjoyed.
enjoy. I mean, if people are interested, I'm single and legal. Yeah, I sound like a fuckboy. I take that back.
Like, people are interested. I'm single, bro.
If it's not, well, let me put it
I'm happily
this
taken.
way. Let me phrase it differently. If for some reason it wasn't clear throughout the podcast, yes, I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sound like a fuckboy because I ain't. I
Uh-huh.
ain't about that life. Well, that was a question I wanted to ask you. If you were, what was your thought about hookups?
What do you mean hookup? Like just casual?
Just casual hooking up with people.
like
like
if I
smashing.
were to just go to a bar and hook up with someone?
Yeah. Yeah, this will be officially the last question because I wanted to ask this.
I feel like it's okay. You just gotta be careful because of that whole like STDs shit. But I feel like it's okay just because I don't know, like everyone has their needs. Even the women, they go to hook up too for because they also have needs. So I feel like it's okay to hook up, just be safe, I guess.
I would say be safe and make it clear what your intentions are.
Yeah, exactly. Cause then
So that way no one catches feelings.
yeah, because if you smash and you didn't make anything clear, then the next morning, like, she thinks you guys are together all of a sudden,
dude.
you're just going to be like, whoa, start
If
a
you're
problem.
going to smash and then pass, you got to make sure it's professional.
Professional.
The professional man, like, hey, like, that was a good time last night, but that's
Like,
it, brother.
I gotta go.
Like, I'm out.
And you, what do you think about casual hookups?
I think it's fine, but it's not for me.
Not for you.
Yeah, it's not something I would do.
Oh, well. To each their own, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've nothing against it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if that's what you're into, by all means, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever do it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I understand why people do it.
Oh yeah.
Because I guess the people that do that shit are, like, lonely, or just they have needs, so they're like, yeah, let's
Or
just
they've
do
been
it.
out of the game for a while.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever do it just because it's just fucking. I know it's not me. I'd probably be those people I'd probably be the person that's like thinking like, oh, we're in a relationship now. Nah. So yeah, no.
All right, well, with that being said, I think it's time we finally end this podcast. So for the people that stayed,
Thank you
we love you
very much.
Hopefully, I don't even know what I'm going to title this episode, to be honest.
Just love.
No, you know what? I'll probably title it like Friends with Your Ex.
Oh, that's true. That's a good title, yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment
yeah.
on what other topics. We don't have an idea of what we're going to talk about next time, but it was just a topic that Leo and I were kind of craving to talk about.
Yes.
Obviously, there was some stuff we left out, but for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And if you're on Spotify, give our podcast a follow. Be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.